What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. So, we come to find out that TNT is going to match Amazon Prime's deal to keep the NBA on their network. And kudos to TNT. They doing the right thing. They know what's smart for them. This is great for the NBA in general. Great for the NBA in general. Inside the NBA is one of the greatest sports pregame and postgame shows ever created. Y'all, I know people that like when it's a bad matchup on TNT, it can be two terrible teams, which, you know, is not always the case. It's rarely the case, but sometimes they have two terrible teams playing or one terrible team playing and a very good team. When the game is not interesting, people still tune into Inside the NBA just to hear what Kenny, Charles, Shaq, and Ernie Johnson gonna say. We want to hear what Ernie, Kenny, Shaq, and Charles gonna say. We want to hear them jokes. We want to hear Chuck talk about them big old women in San Antonio. We want to hear Shaq tell Chuck he ain't never won nothing. He ain't got no rings. He don't know what he talking about. We want to see Kenny Smith run his knock-kneed self to the board and stumble over, like about to fall over to try to show us execution during the game. We want to see Ernie Johnson laughing his butt off, laughing his ass off at them jokes that Shaq and them got. We want to see Shaq get upset that Chuck is interrupting him again. We want to hear them crazy jokes about the other players on teams. We want to hear them laughing. And, you know, these dudes are hilarious. They like stand-up comedy while you watching basketball. You can't beat that. Men love to watch basketball, and hell, we love to laugh in the midst of doing that. You know what I mean? And Inside the NBA is what does it for us, right? The NBA is in a transition period too, right? They're trying to figure out who is going to be the next face of the league. LeBron James may not be the best player in the league. He's not. But he's the face of the league still, which is great for the legacy of LeBron James, but for the longevity of the league, it's not good. LeBron only got a few more years left to play, right? And so you got to find another face to keep the league afloat, to keep the league interesting, to really attach the league and its brand to. You know what I mean? And when you're going through a transition period like this, you don't need too many negative changes that could sway the fans from being off your sport. The fans would be pissed if you take away Inside the NBA. Y'all know that. Y'all know that. It would be amazing. People have been so upset and hurt by it. Like I'm talking about, like, boy, if that show if it ends, you probably would see people crying or people hurt like somebody in their family died. Not gonna lie, man, this show has been a staple of my sports, of my basketball watching since I was a young kid in elementary school. You know what I'm saying? Like, since I was a young kid in elementary school, way, you know, I'm 31, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, since I was really watching basketball and knowing what I was watching since the year 2000. Like, you know what I mean? And again, I've been watching these shows for the longest of time. I remember, like, LeBron's first year and watching Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith. I hope I didn't say Kenny Johnson. Kenny Smith. Watching Kenny Smith and them talk about it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. I just think it needs to stay with TNT. It needs to stay with TNT. You can't have Kenny Smith, Ernie Johnson, Shaq, and Charles gone from sports commentating, from giving their dialogue about the game. They're too interesting. They're too charismatic. They are box office television. Box office. And that is, you hitch your wagon to them. The NBA has to keep their wagon hitched to them to keep the league standing strong and firm and keep it at least upright and upholding strong. I told y'all, they already got to find the next American superstar with the status of a LeBron James. They have to find that immediately. I am one of those people that believes the NBA only goes as far as its American superstar. Kind of like the heavyweight division in boxing and boxing in general, but like boxing only gonna go as far as the American champion in the sport, as the top American. You know what I mean? And that's how far the boxing game will go, especially in the heavyweight division. Though heavyweight division didn't get no love when Klitschko and them was winning. It did not. It started gaining a spark back when we had an American Deontay Wilder in the fold. Say what you will about Deontay's inability or his lack of boxing skill. He made boxing exciting again for the American public. We had a guy in the mix who was fighting dudes from all over from different countries. You know, he was the only one we had fighting dudes from the UK, from Cuba, you know, fighting dudes from Australia, etc. But we had a dude with a bomb, with a cannon that we can attach ourselves to. So, yeah, the NBA needs an American superstar like a LeBron James, Steph Curry of that ilk. But if you take inside the NBA away, oh my God, stuff will get worse for the league. They need them dudes, man. You need, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep that recipe the same way. It's valuable. It's a valuable product for the league. Adam Silver knows that. He knows, damn, man, we got to keep this show going. There's no way we can change. There's no way we can take this show away and think the fans ain't going to be upset and be keeping the same viewership. No, man, it's no other. Nobody else in sports is good like that, is that intriguing during commentating. Like post-game and pre-game commentary shows. I don't know another show that is anywhere close to as entertaining as Inside the NBA. Seriously. And I'm not talking about the team with Dwayne Wade and Candace Parker. I'm talking about Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, Ernie Johnson. That show is gold. You hear me? Like, from Chuck's all them jokes, Chuck's talking about the water in Galveston, Texas, recently, and Beyonce Mama taking exception to it, right? Again, Chuck talking about them big old women in San Antonio, been a running joke for years. You know, I remember they was talking about Derek White hairline, and they was busting up laughing. Like, all these different, like, JaVale McGee, them jokes, them segments, Shaq and the Fool. Come on, bro. That is gold, man. You can't take that away, man. You cannot. The fans will be in uproar, man. And again, the NBA product will be hurt. So TNT doing a great job matching it. I hope they do keep it. You know, yeah, Amazon Prime got Thursday Night Football. Cool, dope. But no, TNT got to keep Kenny, Chuck, Ernie Johnson, and Shaq. You got to keep them. You got to keep them. Amazon ain't going to pay them boys all that money that TNT paying them, I don't think at least, to keep them, to bring them over there with Amazon. TNT, it got to stay with TNT. For real. Again, I know when the games are boring, people still watch them talk about how... Watching them talk about how boring the game is still funny as hell. It's still entertaining. Like, bro, I remember the segment when Kenny Smith tried to imitate when Kobe jumped over the car in the commercial. And Kenny Smith had some like moccasins on. That brother had some dress shoes on or something from church. Talking about, these are the new Kenny Smiths, boy. You know, Kobe did it for his shoe. You know, like a advertisement for his shoe. And him jumping over the car, saying that Kobe should make you jump over the car, right? They being silly. Kenny Smith went out there with some church shoes on and act like he about to jump over the car. And the car ran Kenny Smith over and took Kenny out of his shoes. All that was left on the scene was Kenny's shoes. And in the little commercial, the little segment, Ernie Johnson was the one driving the car, and Ernie was mashing on the gas. Bro, I was crying. Me and my father watched that together, dying laughing. I think this came out, was it during 2009 season, I believe? It was 09. I remember all these big moments, watching LeBron go to the finals and doing that finals run, TNT talking about his run. I remember when Golden State got upset the Dallas Mavericks in the first round, and had Kenny and them was talking about it then. All of these historic moments that this show has helped to bring, and funny moments, man, is just, you never gonna forget it. You can look up segments of Inside the NBA on TNT and you will laugh like crazy. I'm talking about, you will be in there crying. The way Charles Barkley recently when him getting on Draymond Green and them jokes he had. Charles is the boy is sharp. Charles is sharp-minded. He's quick-witted. Like, you know, he always got quick responses. His comedic timing with the rest of the crew is hilarious, man. Like, Shaq always instigating Charles. I'm stuttering and stuff. He always instigating Charles, saying, "What he say, Chuck? Chuck, what you say, Chuck? What you say, Chuck? What he after Chuck say something crazy, he made Chuck say it again. I'm like, look at Shaq, a big old kid trying to instigate it or try to like, get Chuck to repeat some wild stuff he said before, man. So yeah, TNT gonna have to match that, dog. They gotta make it happen. I'm sorry. You're gonna lose a lot of fans. If you let it go, you're gonna lose a lot of your fan base. And the NBA cannot afford to do that. Machiavelli Mills TV, y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm out. Peace.